Alright guys, this is my 04.5 GMC Duramax. This is an LLY Duramax, so it's the second generation of the Duramax. I've had this truck for a year now, and I figured it was a good time to do kind of like a status report. Things I like about it, things I don't like about it, how it's been, what I've had to fix, what I haven't had to fix, what I like about it. I already said what I like about it. So anyway, I figure there's probably a lot of you who have cars who need to tow your cars to the track. You need to buy a truck to tow your car to the track with. You don't know what to buy, etc. Maybe you're looking at a Duramax. If so, you know how difficult it is to kind of find the perfect truck. So when I was looking for a truck, I was looking in the 10,000-ish price range. I could go a little above, ideally go a little bit under, but in that price range, it is really hard to find a truck without some major pitfall. With the Fords, if you want something a little bit newer, you're gonna get a 6.0 truck. It has to be bulletproofed. If it's not bulletproofed, it's probably gonna break. Even if it is bulletproof, there's still other issues that they have, but they have good transmissions. And then you look at the Dodge, and the Dodge has a great engine and great fuel economy, and it's easy to work on, but you're gonna have to replace the transmission. So then comes the Duramax. So the Duramax can have issues with both the engine and the transmission, but it's not super susceptible to having issues with either. It's not like the other trucks where you're pretty much guaranteed to have issues with one or the other. Generally, they're decent, but they can have issues with both. And I think that scares some people away. But to me, it seemed like the best option. You know, either you have a guaranteed failure of one major component or you potentially have no failure. That is kind of what led me to the Duramax. Before I bought this truck, I had a first gen Dodge with a 12 valve. And the reason I bought that truck was because I fix all my own stuff. I just can't bring myself to pay someone to work on something. I have plenty of tools, a shop, you know. So if I'm gonna work on it myself, what's important to me is that major projects, major problems are easy to fix or are not crazy hard to work on. So when you get into a newer truck like this, it's gonna be difficult. And I really like that truck. If I was just towing, 30 minutes at most and I was driving it around town and whatever, I would absolutely still have that truck. I loved it. Really cool truck. However, when it comes to long distance towing, which is what I need a truck for because I'm towing my drift car all around the country to go to different events. This 16-hour drive coming up at 3:30, but we're both awake, so we're both gonna keep going because why not? Got about 5 hours left and things like that. It was just terrible for it. It rode like a bag of bricks. It didn't brake well at all. It was super cramped inside. It was loud. I mean, I would be worn out after a 3-hour drive driving that truck. So that was when I decided that I regardless of how easy it was gonna be to work on or not, if something went wrong, I was gonna have to move into a newer truck like this. And because of all the aforementioned things, that's why I chose the Duramax. It seemed like the best choice of the two. So it's got a solid engine, solid transmission, can have problems with both, but generally they're pretty stout from what I could see. And the Fords and the Dodges, most of what I heard about them was from people who are hardcore Ford or hardcore Dodge. So everyone who had a Dodge would tell you the Dodge was the best, and everyone who had a Ford would tell you that Ford was the best. I didn't hear a lot from Duramax owners, and just kind of doing my own research is what led me to it. So I don't know, it's kind of an interesting tidbit. But anyway, backstory out of the way, that's why I chose the Duramax, and I am very, very, very happy with my choice. So like I said, I've had this truck for a year. I put wheels and tires on it. So these are Mamba 18x9 wheels with Nitto 325/60 18 tires. They work out to be like a 33.4, something like that. Once I put the tires on, it did not ride very well. So I put Bilstein shocks on it. It was a recommended shock by most people. And it definitely helped the ride. Still doesn't ride like a Cadillac, but that's kind of the trade-off with a diesel truck. I'm only towing an open car trailer right now, but I eventually want to get either a 2-car open trailer or an enclosed trailer. So I knew that I would need a diesel to be able to grow into what I eventually wanted to do. But the trade-off is it's not going to ride as nice as a 1500. It tows a lot better because it can handle the weight a lot better, but it has to be stiffer. So that's definitely a gripe with the truck, but I can't blame the truck for not riding amazing because it is what it is. I mean, it's simple mechanics. So, and it is far, far better of a ride than my first gen Dodge. So, let's see. Mechanically, the only thing I've had to replace is the alternator, which of course is super easy and simple to get to. I literally did it in my girlfriend's driveway in like 30 minutes. Not a big deal at all. Other than that, mechanically, the truck has been great. I did the brakes on it, I did the shocks on it just to prep it for the long trips I was going to be taking with it and make sure it was all good and, you know, try to get the most out of it I could, the best stopping power and the most comfortable ride. But other than that, I mean, we haven't really had to replace anything. Inside is where we've had to replace some stuff. So these all start falling out. This is super common with these trucks, these door panels. This window switches just want to fall out. 2 weeks after I bought it, my heated seat quit working. I just feel very fortunate to have this set up. I would feel more fortunate if my heated seat was working if I had fixed that before this trip, because it would be amazing right now to have a heated seat, which is kind of annoying. Passenger side still works. Passenger side window motor quit working. I have it. I haven't changed it. And then my only other issues have been with the AC stuff. So that's another common thing with these trucks. So the blend door actuator, which is what selects basically if you're going to have air coming from the heater core or from the AC, they like to freak out, especially with this dual zone climate control where you can have heat on one side, cool air on the other, in between, etc. And they'll just start randomly blowing the wrong temperature air. So like my driver's side, I'd be cruising, AC on, and all of a sudden it would just get hot and start blowing hot air. So I changed that. Then when I changed the alternator, I obviously had to disconnect the battery, so the truck's battery was completely shut off for a little while. And when I turned it back on, it only wanted to blow out of the dash vents. It would not blow out of these forward vents or the floor vents. I could not get it to change. So I had to do some weird recycles with the truck, like disconnecting the power. None of it worked. I finally disconnected the blend door actuator, reconnected it, and reset everything and got it to work fine, finally. And then, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks later, this started happening. So if I have the AC set on your face mode, good, no problems, right? Switch it to any other mode, and that starts happening. Switch it back. And it's good. So that is another problem that I've had with this. I need to replace, that's basically the actuator that determines where the air is coming out of. So those are big problems. I know the gauge clusters, supposedly the gears were out in those and they start freaking out and doing weird things. I haven't experienced that. Truck's got 226,000 miles on it. I put 26,000 of those miles on it. Have not experienced that. But in the grand scheme of like things that could break, you know, little interior stuff that's not necessarily pertinent, it is really not bad. You know, I really can't complain. Other than that, I mean, the truck's been great to me. I originally got it pretty much specifically for towing, and then I sold my daily and started building a new project daily, and I started dailying the truck, and I love it. And when I originally was trying to decide between a gas truck and a diesel, I remember that was kind of a determining factor for me. Is I was like, I want to be able to daily it, so I kind of want to get a gas truck because, you know, I want like a smaller half-ton to daily around. I don't want to daily a big diesel truck. In my mind, it would be annoying and cumbersome to daily drive a big diesel truck, but it's really not that bad. I mean, granted, this is like the smallest you can get, extended cab short bed, but it is really not bad at all. If anyone has that same thought or concern, I would highly suggest ignore yourself, because it's really not bad at all. I love dailying this thing, honestly. It's super comfortable, ride's decent, quiet inside. I guess that would be the other gripe is these, since they're the split door, these seals just never seal up well, and you end up getting a good bit of wind noise in here. It's really not that bad in this truck. If you have the AC off and the radio off and all that stuff, you can hear it, but otherwise, I mean, I don't even notice it. If you're really nitpicky, you probably would. But I mean, I like the fact that for an extended cab, it's got ample legroom back here. Like, it's not amazing, but you can definitely fit 4 adults in the truck. Plenty of room for my tools and all that stuff. Plenty of room under the seat for straps and things like that. I would definitely suggest this setup, the captain's chairs with the center console. So you get, you know, a big, deep center console. You got your 2 cup holders, and then all this area for stuff, all this area for stuff. Whereas the bench setup, you just have like a fold down center console and a couple cup holders down here. So I really like this setup. I like the armrest, I like the seats. My ideal setup would be this combo, but with cloth seats. I think the cloth seats are a good bit more comfortable. They're softer. They're just kind of like more forgiving. The leather seats are a little bit stiffer, but regardless, they're very comfortable trucks and very comfortable seats. That's probably my favorite part of these trucks is the seats, because the seats are so comfy. What else can I tell you guys about this thing? I've washed it once and it looks fine in this color. I have a topper. I would definitely suggest a topper if you're using an open car trailer and you're towing your car to the track, because it allows you the ability to lock your stuff up in the back and not have to worry about it. So like sometimes I'll leave all my wheels and tires in here between events if I don't need to change tires, and just lock the topper. Or when we go out of town, staying at a hotel or something. All right, we made it up to Atlanta. I can just lock the topper, and yeah, sure, someone can break the glass and get in there if they want the stuff bad enough, but you know, it's a lot better than just having the stuff sitting in the back of a truck. And you know, you might not even be a thief and see a pit bike sitting back there and just take it out, you know? So I really like the topper. It's grown on me, definitely grandpa looking, but with the wheels, it looks a little less grandpa, and it is super useful. Downfall to the topper, when you have stuff in the front of the bed, really annoying to get it out, because you either have to, if it doesn't fit through the side window, you've got to like crawl in there on your hands and knees because you can't stand up, and then like drag the stuff out. That's the one really annoying thing with the topper. What else? I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. My AC on this truck has never been amazing. Like, it's cold enough to keep you cool, but these trucks usually have like icebox AC where you got to turn it down after 20 minutes because you're freezing. And mine will be like that if it's not hot out, but if it's super hot, 95 degrees and really humid, it's like I got to keep the AC pretty much at max to keep me cool. I really have no complaints with this truck. I'm really glad I had my first gym before this truck, because it really made me appreciate how comfortable and how nice and how much more modern and just nice this truck is. And a mere 20 hours later, we are home at last. Time to get some sleep. You know, like every time I get in it, I kind of think about that, and I feel fortunate that I have this truck. I'm like, man, this thing's so nice. Like, it's comfortable. I can cruise at 75 on the highway with cruise control on, towing a trailer, and it's super comfortable. It's fine. I'm not checking the gauges. I'm not worried about it. You know, everything's fine. We're passing south of the border, which means we're in South Carolina. I think South Carolina. Can you see it? You see it? That means we made it to South Carolina, which isn't home, but we made it somewhere. I don't know. It's just nice. I definitely think that these trucks are the best trucks for the money. In my opinion, if you want something newer, yeah, you can get a 7.3 Power Stroke truck, but that falls into the category of the first gen where it's an older truck. I mean, it's not going to be anywhere near as comfortable as this. The leap from like the late 90s design and manufacturing to early 2000s with like American vehicles is a big leap. Truck is 10 times more comfortable and nicer to drive than my first gen was. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm hoping to do some mods to this thing soon. I just like haven't really cared to. I like how quiet and comfortable it is. But I do want to do intake exhaust and a tune, just to liven it up a little bit whenever I get a 2-car open trailer. So other than that though, I mean, I don't foresee doing anything to her. She's been a great tow rig, great daily. If you're looking into a Duramax, I would definitely suggest one. Definitely shoot for the LLY, which is what this is, 04.5 and up. They fixed some of the injector issues and things like that with the LLY. The LB7 did have injector issues, so if you get an LB7 or you're looking at one, you know, make sure the injectors have been replaced. I know that this trucks were replaced under recall, even though it wasn't affected by it, just because of the change every year. They didn't know if it would be or not. But yeah, just stuff to look at. I bought this truck for $8,850 exactly, with 200,000 miles on it. It was in immaculate shape. I mean, I have messed it up more than the previous owners did in its entire lifetime. I mean, this thing was perfect. And I mean, it's still in really good shape. Underneath, not a single leak from anything. No oil leaks, no transmission leaks. Everything's dry under there. That's huge. No rust, no nothing. They garage kept it. I got really lucky with this truck, but you can definitely find these trucks for around $10,000, especially if you go with 2-wheel drive. I went with 4-wheel drive because it's nice to have, holds resale value better, and you end up with the same suspension design, so it's not like any less comfortable to drive. And I have had to use it a couple times. Up in Georgia, we had this lake house that we were staying at. I had the trailer, so we parked over here, but I had to put it in 4-wheel drive just to get it out there. And I would have been stuck if I didn't have 4-wheel drive. So anyway, I guess that's it for the Duramax. If you guys have any questions on the Duramax or my thoughts on it or my experiences with it, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to answer as many of them as I can. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.